today we're going to try Scribble method. Now with the Scribble method, it's sort of like the shape method where you work out shapes, but you sort of just keep doing these lines like this. It's almost like, you know, why do one line when you do hundreds of lines? The T-Rex's stomach's going to be there. Sort of big drumstick here, like a big chicken drumstick's right there. So there's some hips up here. I might do the head arched a bit like this. So with the Scribble method, it's a little bit like if you imagine you're sculpting. It's like you do a shape and you take away, and it's like you're always looking to sort of try and find where the line should be. So it's like a process of elimination where you think, no, that's not right, it should be here. Don't want to use that line, I want to use this line. So it's a Scribble method because you're just constantly going over and over. Saying, no, I don't want that arm there, I want it here. No, I want it here. So you can just sort of, so yeah, he's got 4 front arms now, but it doesn't really matter. It's almost like the tone method. But it's like a very sculptural method because you're sort of constantly refining. Now, the shapes in the nose, which I got from studying the bones in the museum. So with this Scribbling method, you get lots and lots of construction lines going everywhere. So yeah, it's one of these things where you can just sort of, you know, make things up. It gives you a bit of freedom. I think part of it's confidence. If you're just going to do sort of a line like that and you think, oh, that might be wrong, but if you sort of do a few, like, you know, if you do that, oh no, it shouldn't be there, it should be down here, no, it should be there. So you can just sort of like keep going till you sort of decide. You might want to put the tail up a bit more like this. Or you might want to put it down a bit like this. I actually think probably about here. So yeah, you can then take your pick. Start putting shadows in places. But that can be sort of scribbly as well. And here I'm sort of defining more muscle, wrinkles, shoulder bone, shadows, neck wrinkles, bit of black around the eyes. It's not meant to be a gothic one, it's just it's sunken in eyes a bit. So you can see now I'm really sort of defining things a bit more here. And as for the scribbleness, I just draw over it. So I like this sort of Scribbling method to draw because it's sort of, yeah, it's very freeing. And part of the problem that people have with drawing sometimes is that they are so scared of it because they feel they can't draw and they get very nervous about it. But if you can sort of say, oh, I'm just going to do a bit of a scribble, that can free people up and make people feel a little bit more confident. And they end up with better drawings. So whereas a lot of my how to draw videos is, you know, draw this shape, draw that shape, I like to explore different ways because when it comes down to drawing, I guess I'd probably actually draw a little bit more like this, just sort of a bit rough and just keep going over and then just refining bits. And I tend to just draw over the top of mistakes and not worry too much about them. So again, I guess it's like what I've said before, you know, you can sit down and talk on the telephone, and if there's a bit of paper in front of you, you might do some sketching, or you might scribble a pattern somewhere on something when you're just waiting for a bus or a train, or you're waiting for somebody. It's, you know, you get a boring moment on the back of your school books. No, you don't do that. But yeah, there are times when you just scribble in that, and you sort of feel free. Nobody's watching you. You feel like you can afford to make a few mistakes. It wouldn't really matter. It's a bit like some people sing in the car, I guess. It's that sort of thing where if you feel nobody's judging you, you can free up and you can really enjoy the experience of drawing. So you can see it's just a lot of it's a scribble with purpose, really. So from that rough scribble, you can see it's really refining down quite a lot here. I like to think of these as big chicken feet. And here is something that looks a little bit like a tyrannosaur, and yet I've probably done the head too small because they've got very big heads, and I just tend to sometimes just think of a very generic dinosaur, and sometimes my tyrannosaurs, their heads are a little bit too small, so I'll have to watch that next time. I reckon the head probably should have been about that big, maybe. That would be better. But anyway, I hope you guys have learnt something from this. You might have a few handy hints that might improve your artwork. And I'll see you next time.